He told me I was hiding something, that I wasn't being honest. And the truth is, I was, just not in the way he thought. My name is Claire. I'm 28 years old, and for a while I thought I had the perfect relationship. The kind you don't question, the kind you start planning a future around. He made me laugh when I didn't feel like laughing, he showed up when I needed him, and he had this way of making the world feel smaller and safer whenever he held my hand. Let's just call him Adam. Adam wasn't flashy or smooth like some of the men I'd dated before. He was steady, grounded, the type who kept his promises and actually meant it when he said forever. He was the one who asked how my day was and really listened. He was the one who looked at me like I was the only thing in the room that mattered. With him, life didn't feel like chaos anymore. It felt like home. But even in the middle of that happiness, there was this small shadow I couldn't shake. Every so often, Adam would tilt his head at me with this searching look and say, "You're not telling me everything, are you?" I'd laugh it off, brush past it, pretend he was just being playful. But the way he said it, quiet, certain, almost like he already knew, left a knot in my stomach every time. Because Adam was right. I was hiding something. Not the kind of secret he suspected, not the betrayal he imagined. The truth was far messier, more complicated, and when it finally came out, it destroyed everything we had built. He was right. I was hiding something, just not the secret he thought. I met Adam in the kind of way you only see in movies. I was running late to meet a friend, rushing across a crowded street and nearly tripped over the curb. He was there in an instant, steadying me with both hands before I could hit the pavement. I looked up, embarrassed, and saw these calm, steady eyes looking back at me. He laughed, easy and warm, and said, "I think you owe me a coffee for saving your life." That coffee turned into a 3-hour conversation. By the time we walked out of that cafe, I felt like I'd known him forever. It wasn't sparks and fireworks in the usual way. It was something quieter, deeper, like recognition. Adam wasn't like the men I dated before. He didn't play games, didn't leave me wondering where I stood. He was attentive in ways that felt rare. He remembered the little things, how I liked my tea, which side of the bed I preferred, the songs that could turn my mood around. He was protective, but not possessive, stable, but never boring. For the first time, I didn't feel like I was bracing myself for disappointment. Our relationship unfolded in snapshots that still feel etched into my memory. Road trips with the windows down and music blasting, Sunday mornings cooking pancakes together, late night talks about dreams and futures. He'd squeeze my hand at red lights, or text me just to say he missed my face. It was the kind of rhythm you fall into without even realizing it, until one day you wake up and can't imagine life without it. The only part of Adam's life that felt unfinished was his family. He mentioned his mom now and then, with softness, but whenever the topic of his father came up, something changed. His voice would tighten. His words would shrink. He never went into detail, only muttered, "It's complicated," before changing the subject. And I let it go. We all have complicated family stories, right? At least, that's what I told myself then. It happened on one of those ordinary evenings that should have meant nothing. I was at Adam's apartment, straightening up while he took a shower, when I opened a drawer looking for a pen. Tucked inside was a stack of old photos. I smiled at the first few. Childhood snapshots of Adam, missing front teeth, messy hair, that boyish grin I loved. But then I froze. The next photo was different. Adam, maybe in his late teens, standing beside a man with the same jawline, the same piercing eyes, his father. And my stomach dropped, because I knew that man, not from stories, not from passing glances. I knew him in ways I never should have. His name was Daniel. Years earlier, back when I was still figuring out who I was, we'd had a fling. Brief, reckless, intoxicating. Daniel was older, charming, the kind of man who knew exactly what to say to make you feel wanted. I was caught up in it. Late night dinners, weekends away, promises that faded as quickly as they came. It wasn't love, it wasn't forever, but it had been real for a moment in time. And now, here he was, smiling in a photo with the man I loved. My hand shook as I shoved the picture back in the drawer. My mind raced, piecing together timelines, calculating years. It had been long before Adam, before I even knew he existed. The two relationships were separate, unconnected. At least, that's what I told myself. It's ancient history, I whispered. It doesn't matter. He never has to know. But the photo haunted me. Every time Adam mentioned his family, even in passing, even in frustration, my chest tightened. His father was no longer just a name I didn't ask about. He was a ghost in the room, a shadow between us. And the more I tried to bury it, the heavier the secret became. A few weeks later, Adam came home with a look I hadn't seen before. Hopeful, almost nervous. "I've been thinking," he said, sitting down beside me. "Maybe it's time I try to fix things with my dad. He wants to meet for dinner. I want you to come." My chest tightened so hard I could barely breathe. Out of all the things I had prepared myself for, this wasn't one of them. I forced a smile, nodded, and told myself I could handle it. It was just dinner. One evening, I could keep the past buried. The night came quickly. We sat at a quiet restaurant, Adam's hand resting warm over mine. I was rehearsing how calm I'd look, how steady I'd sound, when the door opened. And there he was, Daniel. Our eyes locked before I could stop myself. His expression faltered for a split second, recognition flashing like a warning light, before he smoothed it over with a polite smile. Adam stood, hugging his father with a mix of hesitation and relief. Meanwhile, my body felt frozen in place. The meal was a blur. Daniel was charming in that same practiced way I remembered, but I couldn't focus on his words. I felt his gaze flicker to me in quick, measured glances. Each one said what neither of us dared to speak. We knew each other far too well. Adam didn't notice. He was too focused on testing the fragile bridge between him and his dad. Later, after Adam excused himself to take a call outside, Daniel leaned in just slightly. His voice was low, even. "We never tell him, ever." The words hit like a verdict. My heart pounded. Part of me wanted to scream the truth right there, to tear the bandage off before it festered. But another part, the part that loved Adam, knew the damage it would cause. Silence meant living with the weight of the secret. Truth meant shattering the man who trusted me most. When Adam returned to the table, I smiled as if nothing had happened. But inside, I knew my past had just collided with my present, and there was no way both could survive. After that dinner, nothing felt the same. Adam noticed it before I could mask it. "You're different," he said one night, his eyes narrowing. "You're holding something back again." I denied it, of course. I laughed too quickly, kissed him too fast, insisted I was fine. But the more I tried to convince him, the less convinced he looked. My words shook. My smile felt brittle. And Adam, who had once made me feel safe, now studied me like I was a puzzle missing pieces. The truth was, I was unraveling. Every time my phone buzzed, my heart lurched, terrified it might be Daniel. And sometimes it was. Not in obvious ways. No confessions, no threats, just subtle messages that carried weight only I could feel. "Hope you're well." Or worse, "Funny seeing you again after all these years." Each word dragged me back into memories I wished I'd buried. Nights with him, his voice in the dark, the way he'd made me feel wanted, then disposable. He was reminding me, without saying it outright, that he knew me in ways Adam never could. I started questioning myself. Maybe I was exaggerating. Maybe it wasn't such a big deal. I was younger then. It was brief. Did it really matter now? Or was I making it bigger than it had to be? But Adam saw my distraction and drew his own conclusions. If I wasn't being honest, if I was hiding something, maybe it was because I was seeing someone else. He didn't say it outright at first, but I saw it in the way he looked at me, in the way he hesitated before answering my texts, in the long silences when I came home late from work. The irony cut deep. Adam thought I was unfaithful when the truth was far worse. I wasn't cheating. I was haunted by the one man I should never have crossed paths with again. It happened on a Tuesday night, the kind that should have been unremarkable. I came home from work to find Adam sitting at the kitchen table, my phone in his hand. His face was pale, tight, like he was holding himself together by sheer force. "Who is he?" he asked, his voice low but sharp. Why is my father texting you? My stomach dropped. I reached for the phone, but Adam pulled it back. On the screen was a message from Daniel. We should talk. Alone. My throat closed up. I'd spent weeks rehearsing how I might tell him, how I might soften the blow, but the words burst out before I could think. I knew him. Before you. A long time ago. It was nothing serious, I swear. Adam's chair screeched against the floor as he stood. His face twisted with something I'd never seen in him before. Rage, yes, but also disbelief. You knew all this time, and you let me sit there, introduce you to him while you kept this secret? I tried to explain, but he cut me off. Don't bother. He already told me everything. The room spun. What do you mean, everything? Adam's voice shook as he spat the words. He said you were obsessed, that you chased him, that you used him. I staggered back, stunned. Daniel had gotten to him first, twisting the truth into something unrecognizable. Adam's eyes hardened. I can forgive mistakes. I can't forgive lies. And just like that, the secret I thought would end us if spoken had ended us anyway. Only now, I was painted as the liar in both their stories. Adam didn't let it sit. 2 nights later, he told me to meet him at his apartment. When I walked in, my heart stopped. Daniel was already there, leaning casually against the counter like he owned the place. Adam's jaw was set. We're doing this now. No more secrets. I want the truth. The air was thick enough to choke on. I opened my mouth, ready to explain everything from the beginning, but Daniel spoke first. His voice was calm, steady, the same practiced charm I remembered. She's not being honest with you, Adam. She wasn't some innocent girl who stumbled into my life. She pursued me. She wouldn't let go. That's not true, I snapped, my chest burning. It was mutual. You know it was. Daniel shook his head, almost pitying. She's rewriting history. She always did. I turned to Adam, desperate. You know me. You know I'd never lie to you like this. But the look in his eyes told me I was already losing him. Adam's voice broke as he said, I can't be with someone who shared a bed with him. Every time I look at you, I'll see him. I'll see this. That's when it hit me. Daniel never wanted the secret buried. He wanted it exposed. He couldn't stand being erased from the story of my life. Sabotaging us was his way of reclaiming control, of proving he still had power over me. Adam took a step back, his face hardening. We're done. I'll never look at you the same way again. And just like that, the love I thought would last forever shattered in the span of a single conversation, destroyed not just by the past, but by a man who refused to let it stay there. In the quiet that followed, I replayed everything in my mind. How Adam looked at me like I was a stranger, how Daniel smirked like he'd won. And for a while, I blamed myself for keeping it hidden, for not finding the right words.